Hello everyone, I'm Alan, also known as McLaren 2009, and today I'm back playing Derail Valley. And I'm picking up where I left off on Friday, where I have 3 different loads all going from the harbor to the goods factory. 2 of them are hazmat, and I think one of them is clothes. Got all 3 job booklets. Alright, let's go get my locomotive started up, and we'll get this show on the road. Now, this isn't a particularly heavy load, but it's kind of up there. Alright, so we need the remote paired with this. Actually, I got an idea. I think I'm gonna bring the caboose with me. Alright. Turn on the electricity. Let's go over here. Start the engine. But yeah, I'm thinking I might bring the caboose with me. At the moment, we're currently back to front. It'll be interesting to see what position it's in next time I look at it. But the catch is, in order for it to change positions, I need to go far enough away that the coupler despawns. Which, it's not hard to do that, but still. Alright, now, there are 2 ways I can do this. I can do this the easy way, which would be to just take out the remote and spawn the caboose right here. Or I could do it the harder way, go grab the DE2, grab the caboose, and push it over here. Although, if I'm being honest, I don't think I want to do that. Yeah, we're not going to bother. Alright, so we're going to pop it into reverse, throttle up, kick off the independent. And this is 22,000 kilograms. And this is 17,000. So we're talking 5,000 kilograms. It's not too bad, but it's not the best. I honestly wish the caboose was lighter. Like, for instance, it should probably be lighter than the lightest empty car, so that you always put it at the back. but maybe I'm not properly understanding the mechanics of why we do that in the first place. Maybe trains don't behave comparable to trucks. And that's not what causes a string line derailment. But I don't know. I don't work for the railroad yet. Give me another month. I now have my start date, so it is coming. Alright. Alright, we got the... We're going forward. We're throttling up. Got brakes. Alright, let's climb a hill. Alright, now the first thing that's going to give me problems is going to be this turn right here. Because it is currently aligned to go to City Southwest, and I'm not going to City Southwest, I'm going to the goods factory. So we're mixing it up a little bit. Alright, let's get up to about 35 and dial it back a little bit. Okay, so what we've got going on is I have... First my controllers are drifting, now they're drifting through like time and space. Never a dull moment. Alright, so I've got 2 loads of hazmat and 1 load of clothes, I think. Hydrogen and sodium hydroxide. Alright. Oh, they're just empty containers. Alright. And wouldn't you know it, the one that's all the way at the back and yeah, the ISO containers are all the way at the back, and then if I'm remembering it correctly, those 3 cars are the other ones going to D6. The middle ones are going to D5. So that's going to make it a little bit interesting when I get over there. But we'll deal with that later. For starters, let's just get up this hill. So apparently somebody was saying that a good rule of thumb with how much like a locomotive can pull, if you can move in notch 3, you're doing good. If you've got to get up to like notch 7 just to get rolling, you're probably heavy and pushing the limits. But it's whatever. Alright, so generally speaking, the way I prefer to approach the hills and things is I kind of have like a high and low safe speed. And since a lot of this area is down to like 40 kilometers an hour, my high safe speed is probably like 37, 38. And then my low speed would be like 28. So what I'll do is I will throttle up until the speedometer starts rising, and then I'll allow it to go up until it gets to the high range, and then I'll reduce the throttle just far enough that the needle starts to fall. And then once I hit my low speed, I'll throttle up again. And that's just the way that I prefer to climb hills. Now, on the flip side, when you start going downhill, I do mostly the same thing, but instead of throttling up, it's when I apply the automatic brake. And basically I started picking this up because I played Train Sim World a lot, and that's just how I was doing things. And actually, when we get around this corner, I can start talking about braking specifically. Because, like, right now, what I'll do is I'll throttle up just far enough that we're accelerating, and then I'll reduce the throttle just enough that we're slowing down. But when we're going downhill, I have the same principle, but I do it a different way. Like, instead of accelerating up to the high safe speed and then slowing back down, it's more like allowing gravity to accelerate up to my high speed, and then applying just enough brake to slow down when we're going downhill. And then I only accelerate going downhill if I basically come to a complete stop. And not right here, but the next turn past this Y intersection, this starts going downhill. And it's pretty much downhill from here all the way to the steel mill. It's not too bad, and the speed limit does go up, but there's a couple of areas where it's only like 70, I think. So I generally try to keep it around like 55-ish. But that's just me being overly cautious. What I do is not the only way to play this game, it's just it's just how I do it. Partly because I'm playing in VR, and it kinda like feels like I'm actually here. So I kind of approach it with a slightly different mentality. But that is entirely just a, like, me thing, if that makes sense. getting to the point where it's going to start going downhill. So I think I can probably kill the throttle completely now. And we can let gravity do the rest. And then I just keep an eye on the speedometer, and if I start getting closer to my upper speed limit, I start applying the brake. But the thing is, the automatic brake, you don't need to like throw it like wide open. You don't need to do like an emergency stop. You can literally just crack it open and it's going to start applying the brakes on all of the cars and locomotives. But basically, the entire brake pipe, the entire train, is going to be trying to slow you down. So you just need like a little bit. You only apply enough that you see the speed start to fall. That's literally all that you need. And then you don't wait until you get all the way down to like I have a upper and lower speed limit. You don't hold it applied all the way until you get to the lower limit. You can kind of back it off and just release it just before you get to the lower limit, because the brakes won't fully release until the pipe is pressurized again. So what that means is you are still braking even if you've released the brakes. So you're still slowing down even after you release the brakes, because you're still braking until the pipe is filled up again. So you have to learn how to properly use the train brake. Now, I would make the argument that I specifically cannot properly use the train brake, but the way that I do it seems to work for me, and since it gets the result that I want, I'm assuming I'm doing it right. But I don't exactly have a tutorial or formal training on how to do this. This is just what I do and how I do it. Why is this open? No idea. Alright. So making our way in the world. And just to further solidify that I'm not getting a speed bonus like ever, it's already almost been 20 minutes. And we're not even halfway there. And the thing is, I picked up these jobs before I got hooked up to them. So expect these all to be not just late, but very late. It's kind of my thing at this point. So we're just going to roll with it and hope for the best. But the other thing that's going to make it interesting is there is no diesel service at the goods factory. So the only way to refuel is in the station office for a cost. Or for, I should say, basically a higher cost. It's much cheaper to do manual servicing, but you can only do manual servicing. Since I got DE6s, I can only do diesel in places that have orange dots. But as you can see, that's not everywhere. Yeah, 44 is not bad. There are a couple of places on the map that you can easily fit multiple locomotives, but not too many. Luckily, you can fit 2 DE6s in the service track at the roundhouse at the harbor, and you can fit 2 DE6s. You can probably fit more if you try hard enough. You can probably fit like 3 in there at City Southwest. And oddly enough, even though it seems extremely small, you can fit 2 DE6s in the steel mill. Unfortunately, you can't put 2 DE6s in the roundhouse at the machine factory because the consoles are in the wrong place. Like at the harbor, they're close to the door, so you can back one in and then you back it up all the way up to the bumpers and you can refuel the front one. But because at the machine factory in the roundhouse, the consoles are kind of like in the middle, so you have to back in farther to refuel the rearmost locomotive, so you're just not going to be able to. Or you're not going to be able to fit the second one. You're going to have to pull it out and move it somewhere else in order to service it. Alright. Gonna need this thing. I guess I should have just flipped it to the right and then it would have been fine. Good to go. No, put that... No. Why do you do this? Alright. Let's slow it down a little bit. Because we can go about 50 through the yard. But I would prefer not to go 50 through the yard given the choice. But the really important thing is the fact that the switch is currently aligned to go left, and I don't want to go left. I want to go right. Alright, good to go. And let's slow down a little bit. See, according to that, we can go 60 through here. And then we can go 80. But the thing to remember with the speed limits is you can only go the speed or the lowest speed that part of your train is in. So, like, right now, my train is in a 50 kilometer an hour zone. Even though part of it's back there in the 80, we're going to go with the lowest one so we don't derail. And let's hit this. And just like that, we're going through the steel mill. But kind of like what I was saying earlier about how you don't need to just, like, rip open the automatic brake. No, you just crack it open just a little bit. And since the yard is mostly flat-ish, I probably opened it up too far and I'm slowing down too much. And then if that's the case, I would just throttle up a little bit more. In fact, I think I can do that. But this portion over here is going to be slightly downhill. And I do just mean slightly. And then the next area that I'm going to have an issue is I got to realign this switch specifically, because this one is currently set to go left and bypass the goods factory going up towards the military base, and that's just not where I'm going today. Instead, we're running 3 fairly small loads to the goods factory. Although I'll be curious to see how out, I had my streaming software set up incorrectly, and I had like a horribly low resolution. And you don't really notice it in VR, because VR games, they kind of have like an insanely high resolution, but you don't notice it as much because you kind of have like a full 360-degree view. But any game that I played just on my computer monitor did not look pretty. And a couple people were commenting on YouTube asking, like, why is it like 360p? And I had no idea. Well, it turns out my streaming software was set up to scale it down to make it easier to stream. On the plus side, it meant when I transferred the videos from Twitch to YouTube, that it was processing it in like 30 minutes. It might have taken an hour for like a 4-hour stream. But it would be like 30 minutes to an hour for like most streams. But they didn't look good. So I changed my settings, and now it's fully broadcasting in 1080p. So it looks better. Once again, it's more noticeable when I play like a flat screen game than it is in a VR game. But it does generally just look better. It's not scaling anything down, it's just showing as it appears on my screen. But the downside is, now when I transfer my videos from Twitch to YouTube, now it causes the problem of it might take several hours to process the video. But that's whatever. It just means I can't add the end cards until it gets done processing. So it'll be interesting to see how long it takes doing it with a VR game, because the native resolution isn't that high in the grand scheme of things. So maybe this will be a little bit easier than my 2D games, but I kind of doubt it. I think this is still going to take a few hours to process. And understandably so. So I'm slowly making progress and getting it so that my stream looks better, and I'm trying to add more elements to make it more interesting. Try to see if I can grow my viewer base. And oddly enough, one of the things that I'm most known for is specifically Derail Valley. So, obviously, I'm going to keep playing this one. But I also like just simulators in general. And it's going to be interesting when I get to the goods factory, because since I decided to bring the caboose along with me, what I'm going to have to do is when I make the turn to go off to do the loop so that I can back into the goods factory, or so I can back into the inbound tracks, what I'm going to have to do is right on that turn by the A storage tracks, I'm going to drop the caboose right there so that when I come back through with my load wherever the outbound load is going, I can back up, hook up to the caboose, and carry on that way. That way I don't have to like clear it, respawn it, none of that stuff. It's literally just on the side, just past the switch, so all I gotta do is just back up, hook up to it. Granted, I'll be hooking up to it from the other side, but it's just like when I do it at the machine factory, so it'll work out in the end. Alright, so we go right here. Alright, good to go. And this part is uphill. So we gotta speed up a little bit, but not too much. Comparatively, this train is rather light, so it's not gonna matter too much. But it is worth noting that there is a bit of a climb to get to the goods factory. But what'll be interesting is I need to see what jobs are available and where are they going. I don't imagine there are too many things that are going where I want to coming out of the goods factory, but we'll have to see what's available. I think the last time I was here, I barely had any options. So it ended up being kind of a letdown, but we'll have to wait and see. Maybe I'll get something good going out of here. Let's check this. Making progress. Okay. So yeah, as you can see, we're going uphill, so we're kind of slowing down a little bit, but I barely had to use much of the throttle to speed up. So we're very light in the... It's like, for the most part, we're very, very light. And we get underneath this bridge, and we're right there. Then it's easy past that point. Then the only thing I gotta deal with is the process of getting these backed up into the yard they're supposed to be backed up in, or getting them backed up onto the track they're supposed to be, and combine that with the fact that the first and last set of cars are going to the same track, but the middle cars are going to a different track. So that's going to make it interesting. Alright. Let's just slow this down a little bit. It's kind of unfortunate that this is the loading track, since that's the one that comes directly in. But it's kind of like whatever. Alright, so the plan is I need to stop the caboose over here. But it needs to be far enough in that it's not blocking this road and it's not fouling that switch. We don't need to crash into it from the side. So if we can drop it off like right here, we'll be set. Because we need to be outside of the area that it can get hit from passing it on that side, because that's how we come out of here. Wait, what? Alright, something broke. Nope. Yeah, there is nothing in this direction. The only way it would give me the alarm to couple with something is if something derailed. Okay. This is the problem. Alright, put that up there. Huh. Alright. Are either one of these damaged? Okay. Now will it let me do it? Alright, grab this, grab this. Not damaged, that's not damaged. Nothing's damaged, it just broke the train. It's just a thing that happened, apparently. Alright, let's just set you right here. And it's kinda blocking this switch, but since we didn't break anything, we're not going into the repair shed anyway. Okay, so we leave the caboose right here, not blocking the road, not blocking this road. It is blocking this switch, but we're not using that switch anyway. And of all the things to break, the thing that broke was the thing that broke was the locomotives. I have not had that happen here specifically. So that'll be a new one. But it's whatever. Alright, and we need 6. Okay, so we go over here. Alright, luckily it's just 3 cars. Well, it's 10 cars in total, but you get the idea. The switch over here? Yeah, it's right here. Alright, so we go over here. Get past the switch. train brake, independent brake. Okay. Release the train brake, pop it into reverse. Throttle up, kick off the independent, and go on about our day. But the thing is, we have to push these far enough in that we can fit the other 3 cars in there with them. Yeah, because this should be all the way up at the front, I think. Yeah. It's got to be these right here. Yeah, CFF 333. Okay, so yeah, it's the intermodals and these 3. I mean, I say that, but these are also intermodal. They're just smaller. But to be fair, these types of containers are usually small like this because they are extremely heavy. That's also why tankers are somewhat smaller than other types of cars, because liquids, by and large, are heavy. Like, heavier than you might think. It really comes down to a matter of density, like mass by volume. Like, here in the US, the general weight limit for a tractor trailer is 80,000 pounds. There are a couple of places where it's lower than that, but for the most part, the general rule is you can carry 80,000 pounds. And that rule applies regardless of what type of trailer you have. So if you have like a liquid tanker, it doesn't take as much liquid to get to 80,000 pounds. So generally speaking, tanker trailers are shorter. Because you can't fit as much without going over the legal limit. Why is my thing messed up? Alright, so if I shove this 3 cars deeper, maybe 4 cars, I'll have plenty of space to get the other 3 cars in here without any problems. Alright, so let's stop them right here. Alright, so we go over here. Cut right here. Alright. cut there, go over here, turn in the job booklet, get paid out for this one. Okay. $6,000. Hardly worth the effort. But it's essentially a logistics haul. It's just they're calling it a freight haul for reasons. Because believe it or not, you can just move around the containers without having stuff in them. Alright, now I need this, which you are going to D5. Which, coincidentally, is right here. And this is just 6 cars. $73 and $70. Alright, so we gotta get to this switch right here. Alright, train brake, independent brake. Yeah, like you just barely have to use the train brake. Like just that little, like minimal reduction, it didn't even make it a car length before it stopped. So it just goes to show that you can use the train brake carefully and still get the desired result. Alright, well, we don't need to go that fast. That's just asking for problems. But it's kind of like a delicate balance, because with the issues that some of the switches have, you gotta be careful, because if you're going too slow, it'll stop you or start pushing you in the opposite direction from the way that you want to go. If you're going too fast, it'll just destroy the cars, derail, blow something up. It's kind of weird, but we just have to deal with it for a couple more months. Ideally, in a perfect world, the simulator update should be here by the end of June. Should. Alright, let's hit the train brake, hit the independent, release the train brake, go forward. Alright, now we know it's just 3 cars, so this should be 3, 5, 6. So we cut right here. Throttle up, release the independent. And I could just go over there and turn in the job booklet, but I'm gonna get these positioned first. They're already late, so a couple more minutes isn't gonna make a bit of difference. Alright, so get them past this switch. And it's only been an hour. Alright, so basically I'm going to have to work on some more things. Because as of this exact moment, this stream isn't particularly long. So we got to step our game up a little bit. And that's comforting. Yeah, watch as they just go crazy and start like bouncing and things just get bad. Or do that. That's always fun. Okay, now the thing is, I gotta slow it down, but I gotta wait until whatever car is having problems is well clear of the switch. Otherwise, it's just going to cause more problems and it could potentially escalate and make me have a really bad day. Alright, so as you can see, made quite a big window of space. And we're going 5 kilometers an hour, so we're golden. Just one more car length past the sign, and we're golden. Realistically, we're probably fine right now. Alright. And there's even at least a car length between the two cuts of cars. So we're good. So we go over here, cut this off. Alright, now, the thing is, I am going to turn off my locomotives. Hit this, hit that. Go over here, hit this. Alright, that one's off, or 77's off. Let's turn off 76. Now this is probably not the best way to do this, but it's whatever. We don't have like a proper off switch per se, so we just make do with what we've got. Alright, so turn this off, put this away, grab this, and let's go turn these in. Oh, no. Stuck to the wall. Alright, there's one, there's two. 116 minutes. Well, at least these pay slightly better. Still a letdown, but less of a letdown. And as you can see, this is going to be about $28,000. Alright, so locomotives are refueled. And let's look at our stats. Remaining copay is still over $1 million. So, it's whatever. Alright, now let's see what do we got going out of here. Oh, no. I mean, both of those suck, but it's all we can do. Alright, so the only thing that's a little bit different is we can run these to the steel mill, that to the harbor, and also we can potentially run this to the harbor. But the thing is, we gotta find where the other cars are. Because those should be stake flat cars. So that's these right here. Yeah, these are part of 78. But where are the rest of them? Alright, it's not in A. There they are. Oh, okay, that's not so bad. Alright, so stake flats are getting loaded with pipes. And these are 78. And there's the scrap metal. There's the containers. And these are all empty containers. Yeah, just empty, so nothing fancy there. The scrap metal is pretty heavy. And I can only imagine that the stanchions are 4,000 kilograms extra weight. I mean, it kind of makes sense. Although when I worked on the log cars, there was like a beam that would go in between the vertical posts, and then the top of the post would kind of be like truncated so that it would drop so that you could just slide the things in. And then the whole idea with the like support beam is so that you could come up or you could grab the logs from above or with like a front end loader from like the sides. It's just so that you can easily get like the claws underneath them. And then these, it's gonna look like this, essentially. Alright, let me check that. Let me get a drink real quick. Alright. You know what? I think it's going to be a little bit short, but I think I'll probably call it here for now. So, in a bit of a recap of what I've done on this particular stream, I had a train going from the harbor to the goods factory with intermodal containers and tankers all going here to the goods factory, got them here to the goods factory, had the locomotives break apart on me, so that was fun. And then I got this stuff backed up and put away where it's supposed to go. And for next time, it's not going to be the best paying of jobs, but what we're going to work on is we're going to load up these cars with pipes. There's also another set of them over there by the loading track. So load up the pipes, drop them off on an outbound track. We're going to pick up the scrap metal. Pick up these empty containers, pick up the caboose, and go back to the harbor while stopping at the steel mill with those first. And since those are only 4 cars each, I'm going to go out on a limb and say they might be going to the A track instead of B at the steel mill. But I don't know that with any degree of certainty. We'll just see when we get there. But I think for now, I'm going to stop here and pick up back with this on Wednesday, which is the next time I am set to play Derail Valley. So, thank you all for watching, and hopefully you have a nice day.